Hello, I'm Jim Austin, and welcome to Anglers Paradise Fishing.tv. Here we're going to explore the world of bass fishing. With just a click of the mouse, you can watch fishing shows on proper lure selection, technical casting, tournament fishing, from blast off to weigh in. And oh yeah, I'll be fishing with some of my old buddies, such as Mo Lewis, the ex-football player, and my nemesis, J.D. Ward.
Jim, you better get your game on. I think that nail's a couple pounds better than yours, Jim. What do you think?
No, I don't think that. No, I don't think that. And we're going to introduce you to some real great fishermen that you can only see right here on Anglers Paradise Fishing.tv. We're going to show you kids fishing because we know that fishing is a sport that the whole family can enjoy.
Hey Jim, I got a spinnerbait.
Take a kid fishing. Memories forever. Now that you know about us, go and tell your friends that they can watch fishing on their computers right here on Anglers Paradise Fishing.tv. And by the way, I'll see you on the water. Welcome to Anglers Paradise. Today we're on Lake Hardin on the Georgia and Alabama line. We're going to talk about crankbait fishing, which I feel is the most difficult form of artificial bait fishing there is. There are so many different types and so many different uses, but stay tuned. We'll be right back here on Anglers Paradise. Welcome back to Anglers Paradise. Today we're going to talk about crankbait fishing, the most difficult form of artificial bait fishing there is. For an example, today we're on the lake. The water temperature is probably about 87 degrees, 85 to 87 degrees. The water is flowing, which means they're generating at the dam. The coloration is murky. It's not exactly clear, it certainly isn't stained. So which one of these crankbaits would you use? Would you use one in this box? Would you use one in this box? Or to even make things a little bit more complex, would you use one in this box? Now you have that decision to make, because if you don't make the right decision, you're not going to catch fish. Doesn't mean the fish not biting. The key thing is, do you make the right decision to catch the fish biting that wants to bite the bright plug? So today, I'm going to use a lure that has a little color in it. And I think you've seen me use this lure before, but anytime I'm fishing murky water, I want a chartreuse belly and some kind of dark green or black on the back. Just seems to work better for me. I don't want a wide wobble, I want a tight wobble today. Now, if it was cold, the water temperature, let's say in the 50s, I would probably prefer a more of a wide wobble. Reason being, the bait fish slows down and they have a tendency to wobble wide as they move. When the water is warm and they can move freely, it's a tight wobble. So that's what I'm going to get out of this lure here. So the key thing is I want you to remember, when you're fishing clear water, go with something like a Tennessee shad. That's kind of like a black and gray color, which is a natural color, they call it. But if you're fishing water that's stained, go with some with a chartreuse. If it's really muddy, some with the orange, even a white belly, or in a chartreuse back. Just remember, bright colors in stained water or muddy water, and more of your basic colors in your clear water. And if it's cold, you want to go with a wide wobble. And if it's warm, go with a tight wobble. That doesn't necessarily mean that two plugs like that are going to work. It's something you have to, as you fish, you have to tweak it. You got to find that plug that's going to work best for you. That's why they make so many different crankbait. And each crankbait has its own personality, will work based on the conditions that you're faced against. Let's try it and see. Let's see what we can. I found a few fish in yesterday evening. Let's see if they're still here. I'm fishing a rock wall, and this rock wall, the depth goes out to about, I guess about 12 or 13 feet. Then all of a sudden it drops off into the channel. And there's a flat area before it drops off. Well, that's where the fish are holding. They're generating water, water's coming in this direction, and the fish are holding behind that hump. And what I'm doing, I'm gonna throw above the hump, above the point, bring my lure back, and just as it comes over that hump, that's where the fish are staging, and that's why I've been catching fish. Let's see if it's still there. Now remember, when you're throwing a crankbait, you want that crankbait to get down. You want it to dig on the bottom, hit the structure, and when it hits the structure, you want to pause it just for a second. And a lot of times, the way you retrieve can be all the difference in whether or not you catch a fish or not. Make sure that at times when you're going to crank, pause it, and start it all over again. And once you get that perfect cranking method, stick with it. That's going to be the key to catching fish in terms of the way you retrieve your lure. There she is, right there. Fish are still there. Ow, boy. Oh, man. It's a pretty decent fish. It's a pretty decent fish. All right. It's a good fish. Fish is larger than anticipated. Whew. It's a good fish there. Oh, buddy. If I could do this in a tournament, the tournament would be mine. Yes, indeed. That's a good fish. Well, let's put him back. See if any more out there. As difficult as it is to fish a crankbait, a lot of professional anglers, that's how they make their living, fishing nothing but crankbait. Crankbait can be very difficult to fish, but one thing that's been proven about crankbait, it catch quality fish. Now, worm fishing, your plastic fishing is great. You catch a lot of fish, and you'll probably catch more fish using a plastic worm. But when you're in a tournament, you're trying to catch a quality fish, crankbait is the fish that you're really looking for. They're not always the easiest fish to catch, but certainly they're probably one of the most rewarding fish to catch. I'm telling you, like that's one hit right there. Oh, man. Oh, that's a good fish. This is a good fish. Ooh, yes. Yes. Good fish. Woo. Good fish. Oh, it's a good fish. Now, I use 10-pound, no more than 12-pound, when it's practical to use light line. I don't particularly like the heavy line because it interferes with the way my lure acts. So I'm gonna take a chance on this bait. Oh, it got off. Oh, man. Got off. Doggone it. Got off. That was a good fish. Darn good fish. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, let's try it again. Seems like they seem to be schooling up there. Let's try it again. See can I get another. We got a lot of traffic on the lake today, and what it's doing is making the water splash up against these rocks. And I think what is happening is kind of keeping the bait fish kind of disorientated as to the direction they want to go. Just that little bit of current is kind of throwing them off, washing them out of the rocks. And the big fish are staging here. That one is right there. There you go. That's another one. Right there. It's not as nice as the one I had on a few minutes ago. I'm not going to take a chance on this bait. I'm going to bring him on in. All right. All right. It's a good fish. Good one. So you see what I'm doing? I've gotten on a school of fish, and that's the whole key to crankbait fishing. In a lot of cases, to try to find those fish that are schooling, because those are your active fish. And that's known in the fishing world as a honey hole or a bonanza. And that's exactly what I've gotten myself into here today. And you can win a tournament in short order if you can find them on crankbait, because you're going to catch quality fish and they're going to bite in a hurry. All right. Okay. I've made about 5 casts and I haven't gotten another strike. Now that doesn't mean that the fish are not there. That means that sometime they have just changed their way of feeding, and I believe strongly sometimes that they actually become aware of what's going on, and that's during those times when they've gotten halfway full. And what I mean by that, when a bass is extremely hungry, he will hit just about anything you throw in the water. But when he gets to that point where he's kind of full, then he becomes a little bit more selective in terms of what he's going to feed on. And what you have to do in those cases, switch up. Go with something else. Go with another lure that's similar to what you're throwing, but maybe gives you a different action. A lot of times that will trigger the fish and they'll start back, hit it again. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to use this plug in hopes that I can trigger the fish to start back to feed it again. So let's see what happens. That's you. It's another fish. Ah. Ah. All right. Ah. So now as you can see, a lot of times you have to change up. You can't continue to fish with the same lure, because the fish, for whatever reason, sometimes seem to realize that maybe what you've been throwing at them is not really real, and they want something else. So you have to change up. I have my own theory about different lures, and it's not always the lure that looks just like the bait that they're feeding on. A lot of times the fish will just want something they haven't seen before, kind of like you. There are times you're going to eat desserts that's different, something you never had before. And that's what I feel fish are like when it comes down to their feeding patterns. But let's put this one back, see if we get another one. We're going to move to another spot. We've caught several nice fish here, but for some reason they've stopped biting. The water's kind of rising, so I'm going to try in the back of the cove, see if they moved in the back of the cove. We'll be right back. We're going to take a break for a moment. Now what we did here, we just moved to the back of the cove. I stopped catching fish out on the main channel. The water's rising, and what that does a lot of time, it triggers the bait fish to move into the back of the cove. They'll follow that rising water. Now this is not a big fish, but I caught this fish before I could get my trolling motor down. So let's hope that's some bigger fish that's out there schooling. But the key thing is that the fish have moved to the back of the cove. When I stopped getting strikes out there, I realized that the lake was rising and that fish might be in the back of the cove, and exactly what it was. Let's get the trolling motor down, see if we can get some fish on. Now you also notice that I went with a smaller crankbait, reason being, and also went with your basic color, your more clear water pattern, because of the fact that the water is a little bit clearer back here. On the main channel, the water seemed to be stained, has more color, so consequently with more chartreuse which is a brighter color. This is a basic color here. And that's good when you're fishing clear water. Let me turn my boat back around and get back on that spot. We'll fish right in there. That's why I think those fish are biting right there. You got to always keep your eyes open and listen to everything that's going on, because the slightest little thing can give you an indication as to where you're going to catch your next fish and how you're going to catch your next fish. Oh, there you go. Oh, man. Boy. All right. Now you notice the fish not quite as large as the one we were catching out front, but at least we are still catching fish. And if you was in a tournament, you only had 3 or 4 fish, this could certainly finish out your limit. The key thing is that you got to be aware of what's going on. When fish stop biting in one area of the lake, move to another one. You still catch fish, they're still biting. It's just that they have changed their way of feeding, and you got to change your way of fishing. That's all it is to it. All right. Let's try and see if we can get one more out of here. And again now, I've only used 3 different types of crankbait. I've caught fish on all 3 types. But that doesn't mean that those are the only 3 that I can catch fish on. When the fish stop biting, I'll start switching around until I get that right lure that the fish are going to hit. Oh, did you notice that I've switched to a spinning reel? The reason why I'm using 8-pound test line, I'm using a much smaller lure. The spinning reel with the flexibility and the light line gives me greater distance. That's the only reason why I switched over. I can cast it with a bait caster, but personally, the way I cast, I get better distance when I'm using light lures and light line on a spinning reel. All right, oh, you're right there. Oh, man. It's small, but keep fishing and you certainly will get some bigger bites. I'm fishing this bank. I was fishing in the back, and I'm kind of fishing along the bank that kind of leads back out to the main water, hoping that maybe the bigger fish are still somewhat congregated out there. Now, as you notice, in the water on the end of that point, it's beginning to get a little stain color. And what I'll do, I'll change back to my lure with more color. Let's try it one more time just to make sure there's nothing out there that really wants what I'm throwing. All right, let's switch back. Okay. Ah, that's you. Ah. Ah, man. It's all right. Well, it got a little bit bigger. Ah, it came off. Oh, man. Oh, boy, put him back. Well, I tell you, I don't want to take a break now. I want to just keep on fishing. Oh, man. We've had a great day fishing. We caught a lot of fish, but I just want to take a second to show you what the lures will do. Today, I caught fish on this lure. As you can see, it has a bright chartreuse belly with a dark greenish black back. And that was perfect in the kind of off-colored water. Not exactly clear, but certainly not muddy. It worked real well. Didn't have the tightest of wobble, but didn't have a wide wobble. Had just what I wanted to attract the attention of the fish based on the conditions that I was fishing in. But you have other lures. You take this little bitty lure. Sometimes it works just well. When you can't get a strike on the big lures, you'll be surprised that fish will turn on a small lure, just like this. Now this lure, notice the lip, how the lips come out. This one is going to give you more of a wider wobble. Sometimes that's exactly what the fish want, and especially during cold water times. This is a deep running lure. There are times when you'll find the fish maybe 15 or 20 feet of water and you really want to get down there to them. Put your piece of lead on the hook, like I did with this one. Those front hooks will make that lure dive, and you can get down into the deeper waters and catch fish on crankbait. Early spring, I really love a rattle trap. Makes a lot of noise, but it's very effective because of the fact that it attracts the fish attention. And it's that time of year when the fish are moving into the shallow waters, getting ready to go into the spawning cycle. They're real hungry. They just come out of the deep waters. If you can find those fish in the ditches in the back of the coves, you can have a bonanza fishing nothing more than just a rattle trap. It also works well on post spawn, but the only difference about post spawn, the fish are less aggressive and they have a tendency to catch the back hooks, and you lose a lot of fish. So you have to change the hooks on this particular lure if you plan to hold on to the fish, and especially during post time. I like this lure. Notice the skinny lip? It gives you a real tight wobble. It works extremely well once the water starts warming up. I like that lure. I fish it a lot. So keep that in mind when you're buying your lures. Just remember the basic things that we went over today, and I'm sure you'll have a great day out there catching fish on crankbait.